Guys, come on. Don't slide. Up, up. Okay. As you can see, I have groups of dogs that I take walking and playing. We do off-leash and leashed walks, and we work a lot on structure, socialization, training, impulse control. So there's a lot of training and a lot of learning throughout the walks as they get biologically fulfilled to be dogs. My name is Carolina, and I own a business called Pack Walk Adventures, where we do dog training and dog walking. And specifically for the dog walking part of the business, it's pack walks. All right, guys, free. So I train them obviously to get their picture taken, because I send a picture every pack walk. I send a picture to the parents along with a little video, so they can see what we did during the day. People think that running an off-leash dog camp, which is what my off-leash adventures is called, is pure chaos, and it's actually very controlled and very structured. There's a couple of layers to making sure they don't wander off. First, of course, there's recall training. So I train every dog to have very reliable recall. And then the other part is our relationship. As you can see, I have a very good relationship with every dog. The dogs are only going to come to me if they trust me, if they respect me, if they like me. And so we work on building our relationship. If, let's say, we're hiking and they don't come, they will lose fun, freedom, and food. So those are the three resources that I use to communicate clearly to them that not coming is not an option. I'm always going to make them believe that when I call, the only option available is to come to me. So when they don't come, there's consequences, and the consequences is they either go on a long line or a flexi leash, which is a physical boundary of how far they can go, or they lose their freedom. They can't play with their friends as much, so they lose their freedom for a short period of time, and then I let them try it again. So that's basically it. The off leash, having them to stay with me, is more mental connection than physical connection. They understand that when we're hiking off leash, we're moving as a unit. The other thing that I really work with them is their pack drive. I want them to be connected to their friends and to me, so that when we're moving, we're all moving. Nobody's left behind. Nobody goes too far in front. We are one unit. And when you work their pack drive, they don't want to be away from their friends. So they will naturally stay with you. They will naturally stay with their pack. And they understand that I'm the one guiding the pack, the walk. So everybody travel together. During my undergrad in college, my mom was the owner of a grooming shop in Orange County, and I managed that grooming shop for many years. And at that time, I built a pretty solid dog walking and pet sitting business while I was in college. And then when I graduated, I went into the corporate world and started a corporate job for a long time. And then about 14 years ago, I adopted a dog. She was a little golden retriever that I rescued from a high kill shelter in LA. And I did not know what I was getting myself into. She was about 6 months old, and she had every issue under the dog trainer's book available. She was reactive, she was aggressive, she was barky, she had separation anxiety, she had an insane amount of energy. Um, she had been found as a stray walking the streets of Los Angeles, so I don't know what she had to do in order to survive on the streets. But she came with all these issues, and so I started to looking for ways to help her. I wanted to help her feel safer. I wanted her to have better doggy manners. I wanted her to be more comfortable in uh, different settings. We would go out to dinner. She would bark nonstop. Um, so I looked for trainers, I looked for classes, nothing helped. And then I found this guy that did pack walks. And at that time, I needed somebody to watch her. She was going to doggy daycare, which was actually making it worse. She was coming home even more excited and more with more energy. Hey, 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 settle down. Um, and so I found this guy who did what I do today. And she started going with him every day. Within a few months, I had a different dog. I had a dog that listened better. I had a dog that was more calm. I had a dog that was more confident. Hey, 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 settle down. Good. And so that give me 1 sec. So she gets a little time out until everybody calms down. Um, so my dog started to significantly improve in her behavior. She was more calm. And I thought to myself, what a wonderful thing this guy does. Not only is he out in nature with the dogs and training them and helping them live their best lives, but also he's really making a change in dogs that have issues. Um, so years go by, and I was still in the corporate world working in marketing. And one day I decided to do this. And to that was always in the back of my mind. And I had always working with dogs since my college days had always been in my heart that that's what I wanted to do. Um, so I decided one day that I was going to start my company doing pack walks, and here we are today. So my previous dog is basically who started this whole idea of introducing me to pack walks and basically pushing me to get it done. So most of the dogs that come to me are not trained to be in a pack at all. So being part of a pack is something they graduate into. It's not something that they're immediately integrated into. There's a lot of skills that are necessary to be able to successfully be part of a pack. They need to be able to be calm and comfortable around dogs. They need to be able to listen to me, to take direction, to be compliant. So I do work with every dog that comes into the pack on some foundational training things, some basic obedience, but more importantly, I work on our relationship, on building that relationship, so that when they start joining the pack, the first couple of outings can actually be quite overwhelming because there's a lot of rules for their safety. There's a lot of they're coming. Their first day is this strange person is picking them up, putting them in a big van with a whole bunch of strange dogs. So the first few days, it can be very overwhelming for them. And so in order to kind of lower that anxiety, I make sure that we have built some kind of relationship first. So I work with the dogs alone, privately for a few sessions so that they get to know me. And when they go on their first pack walk outing, they don't feel alone. They have an ally, they have a friend. And then they start to get integrated into the pack. As they come into the outings more often, they start to understand the rules, they start to understand what we do, and they start to love it. They absolutely love going on pack walks. I have never met a dog that didn't. But if I had a dog that came and there was no progress being made towards the goal. The goal is to have a dog that's calm, that's playful, that's friendly, that's really enjoying our time together. If we're not making progress towards that, I would talk to the owner and tell him that it's not a good fit. I've had to fire dogs, not because they didn't enjoy it, but because it wasn't a good fit for my behavioral standpoint. Not all dogs are a good fit for packs. Um, so so most dogs do come untrained, and I have to teach them the skills necessary to enjoy and be a successful member of our packs. Most dogs can benefit from being in some kind of group setting with other dogs, with other friendly and social dogs. But I have to say this, I've seen tremendous transformations. This guy, when I met him, he wouldn't even let me leash him up. He was shaking, he was super scared. his mom had to come with me to on our evaluation walk because he wouldn't let me hold the leash. He was so terrified. A couple of weeks in, he was running off leash. You see him, he's very comfortable, he's very confident. So the transformation that pack walks do in dogs, especially dogs that lack confidence, dogs that are a little bit skittish, is amazing. It's absolutely phenomenal. And they thrive. They come out of their shell. They're very fulfilled. So dogs that would not be a good fit are obviously dogs that have an aggression problem or a history of aggression. But dogs that are friendly, social, even if they're a little timid or a little bit that lack confidence, the pack is an absolutely the best thing that parents can do for their dogs to build them up, to help them become confident and happy and fulfilled. Um, so Wally is a perfect example of a dog that really surprised me because he was like, I would not be able to pet him for the first time that I saw him, even with his mom right next to him. Sometimes, and I had doubts about Wally that he would be a good member of the pack, and he's one of the best. He's fantastic. He has perfect recall, and within a matter of weeks too. I mean, he progressed so quickly. And then there's other dogs that surprise me in the other way, that during our evaluation are very confident and happy and relaxed, and then you put them in a group of dogs and they become reactive or they become nervous and they don't progress towards that goal of being happy and relaxed in this kind of setting. No. I started with leashed. And as I became more educated and more comfortable and more experienced in dog handling, in dog training, that's when I started incorporating the off leash. Um, because obviously, the number one thing in this is safety. So I want to make sure everybody is safe as much as possible while providing, super fun adventures. But yeah, so probably the first year was strictly, not even, maybe 6 to 9 months was leashed only, and then I started incorporating the off leash. On average, a minimum walk is about 2.5 to 3 miles. When we're hiking, we might go longer. The dogs will definitely go longer because they'll go back and forth, back and forth. But on average, I walk about 10 miles. And that's with both packs. So one pack will probably walk about 3 to 4 miles. The other pack will walk about 3 to 4 miles. And then I have walking in between, picking up. But yeah, so the distance can vary. Some days I might walk significantly less than others, mostly depending on weather, but also depending on the dogs. So the dogs sometimes are not in the mood to walk a long time. They need more rest or they need more water breaks. So it varies. Uh, I have a minimum of 2 walks per week, and it's $50 per walk. So some dogs come more often, but the minimum everybody comes is twice a week. And the reason I have that minimum is because I want to make sure that the dogs know each other well. The dogs form relationships. They look forward to seeing their friends. So I want consistency in the packs. I want really solid relationships. So that minimizes the potential problems that there could be within the pack, right? One of the things I have to do when they're playing is managing their energy and excitement level, because it can go from fun, playful, innocent to problematic like that. So dogs communicate with each other with threats of violence. That's just how they communicate. So they growl, they bark, they bite when they're uncomfortable, when they're signaling, you're invading my space, I'm not comfortable with you being close to me, when they're asking for something from another dog. So Obviously, we don't want that to escalate. I will only interfere in their communication if it's getting uh, to be inappropriate, or if the corrections are unfair, or the intensity is too high for the transgression. Otherwise, I let them resolve their own problems. But during playtime, there is a line that can be crossed unintentionally from very high and excitable energy into fighting. So watching them play is something that, I can talk to you, but sometimes it's going to be like I have to keep an eye on them at all times. So that is actually the best part of my job. Every dog is unique. Every dog is different. Every dog is going to be, it's like us humans, right? We are all different in our own ways. Some dogs are calm, some dogs are more excitable, some dogs are older, so more mellow, some dogs are young and very active. Um, so I try to put dogs in a pack that make a good member for that pack. So this pack in particular, for example, it's all young active dogs. You're going to see my next pack is much more mellow, sweet, and older dogs. So this pack in particular is very energetic. They play rough. They like to chase each other. When we go hiking, they run out, come back a million times. They're playing, they're sniffing, they're very, very active. They're also more vocal. You're going to notice with my next pack, they're very mellow. So during playtime, they will go and sniff the ground. They will lay in the sun. They will, they're just, you're not going to see a lot of chasing each other or rough and tumble play. And it's because I've intentionally made that pack that way with similar temperaments, similar personalities. So that, for example, Rufus, who is a young 2-year-old, very playful, very active dog, isn't out of place in this very mellow pack. So the packs are intentionally put together to make sure that every dog is in the right group. When we're done with this group, I'm going to take them all home, and then I pick up the next group and start it all over again. Come on, it's fun. You guys have fun? Did everybody have a good time? Oh my God. Okay. Well, for me, when I do my meet and greet with the moms and the dads, especially when I see like a show dog or a perfectly groomed dog like Wally, I tell them, your dog is going to be hiking. Your dog is going to be in the mud, in waters. They're going to be playing. How important is it that your dog comes home clean? If the mom or the dad says, it's very important that I keep my dog perfectly white and clean, then, this is not a good fit for them. But most of them understand that. You can see from looking at my website that, this is an adventure activity. It's not necessarily always a neighborhood walk where they come home. In the summer, they do. In the summer, they always come home clean because everything is dry, there's no mud. But, in spring, fall, and winter, a lot of times they come home a little dirty, and that's okay. That means they had fun. So I have a camera here that tells me like what they're doing in the back. They just moved it. But that way I can see if they're being naughty or if they're starting to get playful, which I don't allow playing in the car. They have to be calm. This is a really good time because one, nobody's taking the dogs to the park right now. So I have access to the parks that are empty because I will not put the dogs in a park with their strange dogs. I will not do that. And the reason for that is I don't know what kind of dogs are in the park, right? I don't know. They could be aggressive. They could be sick. They could be whatever, they don't know my pack, and so there could be an issue. So I'm not going to put them in potentially harm's way. And so if there's a couple of dogs in the park that are not familiar to us, we're not going to go in. But the good thing about being here at 11 o'clock in the morning is that most people are not taking their dogs to the park. They're busy doing work, whether in school or whatever. So most parks are empty right now. And also the sidewalks are empty. And during hiking season, the trails are empty. So it's perfect time to be out with the dogs and not having them run into other dogs or people or kids or anything like that. And we can walk, we can train, we can play safely. Monkey. Yes, very nice. Yes. Good job. Can you see them all? Good job, guys. I don't have a lot of attrition. Like, I don't lose dogs for reasons that are outside of the parents' control. Like if they lose a job or if they move, those are the reasons that they would pull their dog out of camp. Um, but I really have a very, very high retention rate, which is really nice because you form relationships with these dogs. It's not just a transactional event. It's more of, I love them. I love them like my own kids. So I have a wait list. So I am in the process of growing right now. So as I hire, I'm going to open up more spots. So the goal is for the business to continue to grow. And so as I want to specialize specifically in dog training and pack walking, and that's it. Because I used to do private dog walking, I used to do boarding, I used to do pet sitting. So all of those three services have now been eliminated. I don't do any of that anymore. So I really want to just grow the dog walking, the pack walking specifically, and the training part of the business, and be really good at those two, and that's it. Were you playing with Cooper? Were you playing with Cooper? Cooper, come here. Come on, get him going. Get him going. Get him going. Come on. Come on. Um, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Huh? Okay, ready? Go get it. Summit, no. I'm going to throw it. Cooper, come here. Come here. Oh, hi. Hi. Go play with Kai. Kai, go play with Cooper. Go play with Cooper, huh? Summit, we're going to go. Let's go. You guys ready to go? Ready to go on your walk? Yeah? Dummy, let's go. All right, let's go, guys. Come on. Summit, let's go. Let's go, guys. Come on. Lulu, Summit, come. I tell them to get prepared and ready in 3 different areas: mentally, physically, and emotionally. So, mentally, you have to know how to work with dogs. You have to have a basic understanding and knowledge of dog training, of dog communication, dog psychology. Working with one dog is a completely different thing from working with a group of dogs. When you have one dog in front of you, all you have to worry about is your communication with that dog and how you handle one dog. But the minute you add a second dog, is your communication with each dog and the communication between them too. Add a bunch of dogs, and it just becomes crazy. Um, so you want to make sure that you understand how to manage a group of dogs. So get educated, get trained on leash handling. In the beginning, my leash were all tangled, and um, it was pretty chaotic. Um, Now you see my leash; they never get tangled. The dogs walk very calmly, and it's a beautiful sight. They're all very relaxed, and that all takes practice. It takes education. It takes getting the right skill set. From a physical standpoint, you have to be able to, this is a physical job, so you have to be able to lift dogs. Sometimes I have to lift 80-pound dogs into the van that can't get in by themselves. Um, so you have to be able to lift dogs. If they're injured, you have to pick them up. If there is conflict, you have to be able to separate them. Give me 1 second. Guys, Rufus, come. Rufus, come. Good boy, Rufus. Okay. Um, so yeah, so from a physical standpoint, you have to be able to walk a lot. You have to be able to handle the dogs physically. So definitely, you have to get physically ready. And then emotionally, you need calm energy in the event that there is conflict. There's always going to be conflict. As I mentioned earlier, dogs communicate with threats of violence. So you have to be able to keep that cool energy, calm, and um, manage your dogs, manage your pack. If there is a fight or if there is an injury, you have to stay cool, you have to stay calm. And that comes with experience, that comes with also your own personality. If I am a person who is a little bit anxious or doesn't handle emergency situations well, this might not be a good fit because your dogs, the dogs under your care, are going to feed off your energy. So, in order to get them to listen to you, you have to stay cool and calm. That would be my recommendation. Aside from that, if you're prepared in those 3 areas, this is an incredibly rewarding and fun and amazing job. You're outdoors. If you love nature, if you love being outdoors, and if you love dogs, this is an incredible job. It is absolutely my dream job. I get to play with puppies all day, every day, and you build relationships with each one of them. I adore each one of my dogs. They're like little people running around. Um, and yeah, you get to know them, you get to understand them, you get to communicate really well with them and build really strong relationships with them, and you really truly see how wonderful dogs are. um, uh, and yeah, you just, everything you thought was good about dogs is amplified by a million because they are just absolutely wonderful, huh? Okay, thank you so much for coming along and sorry. Okay, let's do it. Hey, Cooper. Thank you so much for joining us today. We had a great time. I hope you learned a little bit more about pack walks and dog training and running a pack walking business. If you'd like to contact me, you can find me on Instagram at Packwalk Adventures, or you can contact me via my form on my website, packwalkadventures.com.